Hey guys, thanks for joining us today as we look at Matthew chapter 5, verse 27 through 30. That's what we are in our group study. And so hopefully you are joining us. Hopefully you have the questions in front of you. And what I want to do right now is just give you a little bit of a summary and kind of share with you what we talked about on Sunday. And so Matthew chapter 5, verse 27 through 30, this is a subject that is just as relevant as it was in Jesus' day as it is in our day. Today we are talking about lust and adultery and how our inward sin of lusting is the same as adultery. Jesus says this in Matthew chapter 5, verse 27 through 30. He says, "You have heard it said, 'You shall not commit adultery.' But I say to you, everyone who looks at a woman with lustful intent has already committed adultery in his heart." Here Jesus is doing something that he's been doing. He did last week when he talked about anger, and what he's going to do in the following weeks when he talks about divorce and lying and those kind of things. He is comparing and contrasting. What he's comparing is he's comparing the teaching of the Pharisees, the scribes and the Pharisees. And he says in Matthew chapter 5, verse 20, he says, "For I tell you, unless your righteousness exceeds that of the scribes and the Pharisees, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven." And so the crowd that is listening to Jesus must just be feeling helpless, completely desperate. How will our righteousness exceed that of the Pharisees? Well, Jesus is going to teach them this. And so what the Pharisees have been teaching is that their righteousness and the righteousness they've been teaching is following the law, pretty much doing a list of these things and those things. You know the 10 Commandments. You do those things and you're righteous. They said, "You shall not commit adultery." And then Jesus says, "But I say to you, everyone who looks at a woman with lustful intent has already committed adultery." Leaving everyone, the Pharisees and us today, feeling guilty of the sin of adultery. This word adultery means, you see the word everyone. This is talking about everyone, so married and not married. It says everyone who looks. This word looks means you're not just accidentally seeing somebody, but you're gazing at them, like you are intentionally looking at them. It says looks at a woman. So it says looks at a woman, but really the woman is just an example of somebody who lusts. This message is for men and women. So anybody who looks at a man or a woman with lustful intent, this lustful intent means that you have a strong desire. You're intending, lustful intent means that you're intending to pursue that person or to pursue the opportunity to look and to gaze at them. And so we as the audience are left with this feeling, not the feeling, but the truth, that if you have looked at somebody lustfully, you have committed adultery. That is scary. And then verse 29 says, "If your right eye causes you to sin, tear it out and throw it away. For it is better that you lose one of your members than that your whole body be thrown into hell. And if your right hand causes you to sin, cut it off and throw it away. For it is better that you lose one of your members than that your whole body go into hell." Right here, Jesus is using what's called hyperbole. Hyperbole is kind of like an exaggeration, like we would maybe say, "She runs like the wind," or no, "When my parents come home, they're going to kill me," right? Now, although she runs like the wind doesn't mean she's the wind, but it does mean she's fast. Or when my parents come home, they're going to kill me. Doesn't mean that they're actually going to kill you, but it does mean that when your parents come home, you are in so much trouble. Jesus is saying, he's using hyperbole, but what he is really saying, he's not saying to cut off your hand or pluck out your eye, but what he is saying is sin is serious. And if there is sin in your life, if there is something in your life that is causing you to lust, and that could be your iPhone, that could be a TV, your TV, that could be some app on your phone, whatever it is, then you have to cut it off. And it's better to cut it off than your whole body be thrown into hell, meaning that if you don't cut these things off, it has the potential. It will separate your relationship with God, and it will drag you into hell. It will drag you away from God. And so, this is what the text is saying. And as we look at this text, it's important to realize two things. The first thing is that the heart is corrupt, and we need somebody to fix our heart. And the second thing is that we have a responsibility in this too, that we need to fight and work hard and take sin seriously and be willing to cut off, be extreme, be radical about those things in our life that are causing us to sin. And so if you today feel poor in spirit, are mourning for your sin, you're in the right place. That's the beginning of a renewed heart. So what are you going to do with that? What things in your life are you going to cut off? And so I hope that you and your group have some really good discussion. I would encourage the men and the women to separate as you discuss these questions, just because sometimes there's some sensitive things for sure, you know. And so I just hope that it's a time where you can be honest, that you can find people that you can truly share. And a lot of times when we face a subject like this that really zooms into the heart, it takes one person to be honest. And then you'll find that everyone starts opening up. So I just hope that you're honest, and I appreciate you watching this video. And just want to let you know, groups and group leaders, next Saturday from 5:30 to 7:30, we have a core gathering here at the Lakeside campus. It's for group leaders, and we're just going to be talking about this year, the year to come, what's coming, and we're also going to be feeding you and celebrating and just saying thank you for all the work that you've done through this weird year. And so I hope you can make it if you're a group leader. If you are able to make it, if you didn't get my email, please just email me and say, hey, I would like to come to the group leader meeting. So God bless, and thank you for watching. We'll see you later.